Hi there, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting. If you've not come across me before, I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and have been for nearly 3 years. In fact, I think it is 3 years today. Anyway, so I share with my two incredibly close crafty friends, Crafty Karen Designs and Vicky Lou Designs. Every Sunday we do Share It on a Sunday. And today's theme is mini catalogue. So we have a new catalogue that, yes, another one, that goes live on I believe it's the 3rd or the 4th of August. And it's full of autumn things and Christmas things and Halloween things. And I've really loved some of the new DSP that's coming along. This is one of them. I've just been making a little box and all my measurements went wrong on this one. So my video is going to show you how to do this correctly, and I'll put a sentiment on there as well and finish it off. I was just kind of playing about with it, but in here I've done the measurements so that it fits just a little spray thing. So you have to adapt your measurements for something to fit. So the diameter of that at the bottom is 1.5 inches. So the bottom of my box is 1.5 inches square, and I've just sorted out the measurements around that. This is about 4 inches high, so my box is 4 inches high, and then out of a piece of 6x6 make a little lid. And then the ribbon goes around it, take off the ribbon and open it. So nice for Christmas, nice for absolutely any occasion. So I'm going to be using the Gilded Autumn DSP. Let me show you how beautifully stunning this is. So I've got this, I've already pre-cut this to the size that we need. So summer nails on autumn colours. So we've got this acorn and leaves. Then we have that lovely early espresso, and that is probably soft suede or crumb cake on there. Look at that. Look at the lovely, beautiful foiling on it. And a dogtooth design. I love this one as well. It's a real proper autumn scene, and stripes. I love those stripes. I'm not quite sure what that's meant to be. Karen says she thought it was a pine cone, and yeah, I think she's probably right. I can't come up with a different alternative. Love that. So that's what I'm using today. And this is lovely as well. Nice abstract. This is mint macaron, and that is gold, I believe, on there. Beautiful colours. So we've got early espresso, very vanilla, Cajun craze, and that I believe is mint macaron. Well, it might be something else actually, but I can't remember. Look at that eggshell. I don't know if you can see that. And we've got pumpkins and squashes on the other side of that. So absolutely love that. Fell in love with that paper the minute I saw it. And you don't realise how nice it is until it's in your hands. So I recommend that one. So to make our box, let's put that to one side. Start off with an almost square piece of card. This is Cajun Craze, and I have never used Cajun Craze before. So there's a first time for everything. And this measures 6.5 inches by 6 inches. Now there are some intricate measurements on this, and the only way that I can deal with that is with my Stampin' Up paper trimmer. The reason why is because it has 1/16 of inches increments on there. And as long as you're careful, and I wasn't careful, hence why there was a mistake on my box there, because I thought half of 16 was 7 and not 8, so I had to start again. So on the long side at 6.5 inches, your first score will be at 1.5 inches. So it's on the lid that has the intricate measurements. So score at 1.5, at 3, at 4.5, and at 6. And it's that old wives' tale, that old saying, measure twice, cut once. And you know, as I would say, don't rush it, think about it, check it, especially if you are creating your own measurements from whatever it is that you want to wrap. So at 1.5 inches, this forms the bottom of the box. Okay, so I've just scored the short side at 1.5 inches. Okay, all of the measurements are on my blog. I'll leave a link to that blog post in the description bar. So don't worry about writing down if you don't want to, but if you're like me, if I'm watching YouTube tutorials, I like to write everything down as I'm going along. I feel like I'm learning. I'm just going to burnish all of these score lines just with a bone folder, and it makes all of those score lines lovely and crisp. This brown is, this Cajun Craze is lovely. It's like a really, I don't know how to describe that brown. It's not brown really, it's like a bit of a really, really dark orange. So looking at this then, we have a narrow rectangle here and then a little rectangle here where that score line is. So this is the tab that holds it all together. So this skinny triangle here, you're just going to lop off, no measurements for that, just a little bit at the top there. And then you're going to do the same here. So where those two lines meet, you are just going to cut into that corner. Hope you can see that okay. And then cut on that first score line up to where you've just snipped. And what you're left is that, and that's the tab that holds it all together. And then all you do there, so this is that 1.5 inch line that we did, just cut up each of those score lines. So I'm going to keep all of these nice and simple. The only difficult bit will be is just getting those measurements right on the lid. So these are the flaps that form the bottom. So if everything is folding inwards there, you want to turn it round, and we're going to put some tear and tape. You can use wet glue if you like, but I don't like using wet glue for boxes. I can't get on with it. I end up just losing patience. I have zero patience. It's a wonder really I'm a crafter. So if something doesn't go right, I throw a tantrum, it goes in the bin. So let's just take that off. Turn it round, so just bring that in there. And then when you move this over like this, if all of your score lines are nice and accurate, that will just fold over there, and that raw edge will match your fold. These two lines will meet, those two raw edges will meet. And there you are, there's your box. So we need to just form the bottom of that. So find the seam, so I've got mine there, and that's going to be the back of your box. So if you've got the back closest to you, fold those two side flaps in, and let me think, that one's going to go forward and that one's going to come back, but this is the one that you're going to put some adhesive on. And again, tear and tape is absolutely fine for that. And for the bottom of things, I just use 2 small strips. That's the great thing about this tear and tape, you can just tear it off like that. So in the mini catalogue there is some Christmas paper in there, but I just refuse in July to use Christmas paper. I'm not interested, not yet. So there's your box. So if I can find my little aerosol spray gift thing, that sits in there like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is form the lid. So I'm going to use this. Now this is where the intricate measurements are. So get your paper trimmer and make sure that you just have the scoring tool available there. Don't get your blade anywhere near this. So our first score, excuse me, our first score will be at 2 1/8. Now if you want to measure in 16ths, because everything else will be, 2 1/8 is 2 2/16. So each of these little lines is a 16th. So 1, 2. So very, very carefully, even I'm taking my time on this. I'm not going to rush this because it will all go wrong. And I'll look a prize nana. And then the next score line is at 3 11/16. So count along 11. So I go halfway. So half an inch is 8/16. 8, 9, 10, 11. Line that up and score. And then you're going to do the same. You'll take that out, rotate it, either way, doesn't matter. And you are going to score at 2 2/16. Always check before you score. And then 3 11/16. I didn't say the size of this paper. This paper measures 5 13/16 square. I know that's a really awkward measurement, and if you're confident using your paper trimmer, then use that. That's the best thing to use for it. So we have 2 score lines here, 2 score lines here. And what we do at the bottom here, we will repeat and do the same up here. I'm not burnishing any score lines yet. So these 2 middle score lines I'm going to cut up to the first score line. Like that. And then what I'm going to do here with these big squares there, I think they're squares, I'm just going to bring my scissors in a bit and cut up to that middle line. No measurement necessary, because this is just a tab that will hold it together, and you're going to do the same on this side. Just come in a little bit and then cut up to that corner there. You're going to do the same here. Come in and cut up to the corner, and then the same on this side, just up to that first score line. And then what you're going to do, just looking at it from that way, you're just going to chop a chunk off. No measurements required. I'm going to do the same here and chop a chunk off there. And I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. So cutting up those 2 score lines, and then forming these tabs. Let's chop that off there. And then, now for this lid, making it like this, don't use paper with a direction on it, because it won't work. So you want something that's got a random pattern. Okay, so next thing is to fold and burnish our score lines. And with foil, any paper with foil on it, just nice and gently. Stampin' Up! DSP is extremely good quality, but you still want to treat it with some respect. And I prefer to do this after I've done the cuts. If you prefer to do it afterwards, no problem at all. And I would also say the first time you do this, have a practice with some maybe retired cardstock, or just some old cardstock. Back of a cereal packet, I always say as well. I haven't burnished that one. And what we're going to do is fold that in like that and form the lid. So to do that, looking at the outside of your box, so this bit is a little bit time consuming. I'm trying to keep my video as short as possible, although I do know that my regular viewers who watch me quite like it when I do this stage by stage, so I'm not going to apologise for going slow. If you know what you're doing, then just speed through the rest of the video. Be sure as well to check out Victoria and Karen's blog posts on this. I always do a video with mine, but just because YouTube is my social media platform of choice. But if you go to the blog post that's in the description bar, there is a link and go and have a look. And what's the lovely thing about these Share It on a Sundays, I have no idea what they've made until our blogs go live. It's a really lovely surprise. And in the first few weeks that we did it, we found that we kept using the same paper and didn't realise. Now we tend to go for completely different things. So the next thing you're going to do is just take off the backing paper of all of this. I know I probably should be using my take your pick tool, but actually I prefer to use my scissors. That didn't take all of that off. The great thing for me at the moment is that I've finished work for the summer. I now have a lovely 6 weeks off. I don't go back until the 1st of September. Lots of lovely craft coming, and it means I can get lots of videos done and get them scheduled right up until the end of September, so I can go back to work and not have to worry about doing lots and lots of tutorials for you. I will keep them, I will schedule them all, so these will continue into the autumn. So to form this lid, let's start here. So that tab is going to go to the inside of this, and that raw edge has to match the folded edge. So it's a bit tricky, but take your time and you'll do it, and then tuck that one in there as well. So tab, tuck it behind, and very carefully, because once that's stuck, that's it. Make the raw edge match the folded edge. Come to the other side, you're going to do the same. Tuck that in, raw edge matches folded edge, and then the other one tucked in, raw edge matching folded edge. And you have that. I could have done that one a little bit better, but I have shocking eyesight. It's really difficult for me to see. So there we go. There's our bottom of our box, and I'm going to put that on the top like that. So it gives a really nice contrast. Now the next thing I want to do is get some ribbon to hold all of that together. So this is the Very Vanilla and Gold trim ribbon, and I'm just going to form that all the way around there. I'm just going to take a length of that. I need more of this. I use a lot of this, especially at Christmas. Now the length that I've got there, I don't know how long that is. It's over 16. It's probably about 20 inches. And I'm just going to put my box on top of that. And I'm not going to do a bow. Shall I try and do a bow? Because a bow does make it easier. No, we'll do a knot. I'm not going to do that. I'll be here all day watching me do that. If you're good at bows, do a bow. If not, I'll show you that a knot doesn't actually look too bad with this. Kind of feel like you need another pair of hands. So this is just a double knot. Whoops. There we go. That will do. All fingers and thumbs when I'm filming. So just lop those ends off. So we have that. And one last thing, I've got my circle punches. I love my circle punches. And I did think first, and I've just got a few ideas that I was thinking of, will that work? Oh, there it is. So I think I want to put some gold on there, but I don't know if it will go. So let's have a go. Using the 2.5 inch circle punch. It might be a bit too big. I do like to experiment with these things. I think that'll do it. Is it too big? Might be too big, mightn't it? I can't decide. I cannot decide. Right, so perhaps I need to look at another punch that I've got over there. Hang on. Right, different punch. Let's get rid of that. Goodbye circle punches, you are redundant. Let's have a look and see what this does. That might be better. Right, that's going to be better. Now what I'm going to do is slice that in half. So just put that at the top of the track there. Get it central, although it won't be a disaster if it's not. Slice that in half like that. And I'm going to put that either side of that ribbon and just mount that with some mini dimensionals. My fingers are sticking to that. Right, mini dimensionals are, they were on my desk. Amazingly, I'd put them away. I need to see where I'm going to put this. So I want that to sit on there, because at some point I need the ribbon to come off. So just with some, I've just put some dimensionals and they need to sit on there, because we do need to be taking the lid off. Okay, so we don't want to attach them to both the lid and the bottom of the box, because you just won't be able to get the whole thing apart. And I'm using the ribbon as a guide, so making sure that that's in the middle there, and then just taking the backing bits off. And I use the first one as my guide, just lining that up against the ribbon just to help me get that central. And then I'll just match that up on the other side with that one. So very carefully line that up at the top first, and then stick that down there like that. And so the next thing I'm going to do is take this, and then that will sit on top like that. You just need to line it up. Okay, so I'm going to use some Cajun Craze ink and stamp a sentiment onto, what I've done is just punched out another one of those with the tailored label punch, like that. But we need to put a sentiment on it. Now, the sentiment I'm going to use is from the Tasteful Touches stamp set, and I'm going to use this, "You Are the Best." And I've got that already loaded up on my ink block. Cajun Craze, never used this ink before, so the first time using the ink and the cardstock. So line up my label. Hope I get it right first time. Oh yes. I'm amazed there I got it right first time, so that doesn't always happen. And I just want to attach that with dimensionals to the gold foil. And again, just keep the dimensionals to the bottom half of your label. Not in the middle, just either side, just there. In fact, no, I'm just going to put that on there like that. We'll see what it's like afterwards. So lining that up, and then when you're happy with it, press it down. So there you have your box in two parts. You've got the gold, you've got the Gilded Autumn DSP. It's beautiful Cajun Craze. I'm absolutely in love with that now. And there you go. I hope that inspires you to make a little gift box. And if you're trying to work out the dimensions and things and you're struggling with it, just come and contact me. Just leave a message at the bottom. I read all the comments on my YouTube videos. Sometimes it takes me a few days to get there, but I do read them all. So if you want any help with dimensions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. My blog post is in the description bar, and all the details and the measurements are on there. I will see you all soon. Bye bye.